What exactly is high functioning depression?
It's really similar to what it sounds like, right? It's depression, but it's being coped with really well. I seem totally fine. I'm really good at appearing fine. I have good coping mechanisms. You would look for trouble sleeping, chronic feelings of irritability, worthlessness, numbness, exhaustion. And then those thoughts, like you said, like some of those dark thoughts, like we might cope with those well. We might push those away fast, or we might shut them down or take them captive. But if they're happening, those are signs and symptoms of depression.
Why does it even matter? Like, especially when we're in this high functioning kind of place, we can kind of think that I'm taking care of everybody else.
Right? Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Well, this might be hard to hear, right? But you matter.
But we know it's true, and it's true because God says it's true. It's how He sees us. It's how He sees you. And you may not see it the same way as He sees it right now, but I promise you He sees it correctly. In this episode of the Road to Happiness podcast, I'm going to be joined by counselor Megan Hughes. She's a NICC therapist at MyCounselor.Online, and we're going to be unpacking her new article on what are the signs of high-functioning depression and when should I seek help. So high-functioning depression is maybe something you've heard of before, maybe you haven't, but depression often doesn't look like you expect it to look. And very high-functioning, successful people can be struggling with depression and not even realize that's what it is they're dealing with that's holding them back from really enjoying life fully and experiencing the abundant life that Jesus wants for them. And so what we do in this video is we kind of unpack what does it look like, and you may find yourself in it. I certainly share my own story with high functioning depression and what that has looked like in my life and my story, and how I came through that and navigated it. And Megan shares in her own story and from clients that she's worked with. I think it's going to be super useful for you, maybe personally, and touch your story. But there's definitely people in your life who experience high functioning depression, and it's going to be able to equip you to love them well and come alongside them by recognizing the signs and knowing how to be helpful to them. So stick around. You're going to learn some things that are going to help you mature into true happiness. The Road to Happiness podcast is made possible by MyCounselor.Online. Hey, we all need some help every now and then. And the counselors at MyCounselor.Online are thrilled to come alongside you and help you navigate all the challenges in relationship or just life, the obstacles that life throws at you that get in the way. So check them out, MyCounselor.Online. They'd be honored to serve you. Hello and welcome. I'm joined here today with Megan Hughes, one of the delightful counselors at MyCounselor.Online, to talk about your new article that's coming out. It's what are the signs of high functioning depression and when should I seek help? So first, I just want to say thank you for writing this. You spend thousands of hours sitting with clients and helping them navigate the various challenges of life. And for you to take and distill that wisdom into something that folks can find on the internet and read, and taking the time to record this video so that they can get some encouragement and some help in their own journey. Just thank you for doing that. So
Absolutely. What an honor to be that voice and to be led into that space with people. So
yeah, it is super fun. We get to do that.
yeah.
So first question I have for you is, what exactly is high functioning depression? I think people are kind of familiar with depression. There's better education about depression in the world today than there was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And so I think most people have a general sense of what it means when we say depression. But this kind of subset or particular kind of depression, high functioning depression, what does it mean? What does it look like?
Yeah, it's really similar to what it sounds like, right? It's depression, but it's being coped with really well, right?
Okay.
So it's really we're still functioning. We're still getting the kids to school. We're still going to work. We're still doing the things in life that need to be done. And in that way, we're functioning really, really well. Right.
Okay. So
And
when you say functioning really well, you're not saying that we're not feeling all the things that we feel at depression in terms of the discouragement, the overwhelm, the loss of motivation, or the hopelessness, discouragement, negative thing, blah 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 blah. All the things that go to depression, like all that is there,
yes, all of that is,
but
yep.
we're somehow managing to like externally go through the motions of life, do
Yeah.
what we need to do, show up for work, show up for kids,
Yeah.
such that maybe if you're on the outside, if you're an outsider kind of looking at somebody who's, experiencing high functioning depression, you might think they're
They're fine.
crushing it.
That,
Everything.
yeah, doing great, right? And
Mm,
so it's actually, it can be even more lonely, right, in a way, because it's like, wow,
yeah.
I seem totally fine. I'm really good at appearing fine. I have good coping mechanisms. So when I do feel worthless, when I do feel hopeless, maybe I go and I like go work out, or I go and I scroll on my phone for a while, or maybe I have a glass of wine. I don't know what you do with that, right? Like everybody has their ways of coping.
Yeah.
And so we're
Some
coping.
more healthy than others, right?
Some are more
You
healthy than
know?
others. Probably though going and working out is maybe better than the glass of wine. I don't know. Like depending on,
Well, I don't know about the glass of wine you probably get by. It's when it turns into that bottle of wine,
yeah, a bottle of wine is
right?
a tough one. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
rough
Or
coping mechanism. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like I know clients that I've worked with, high functioning in their job, maybe ministry positions, pastors, business
Absolutely.
leaders, and folks in the education system. And man, they look like they're just crushing it.
Yes.
And then what people don't see is the despair that they feel and the worthlessness they feel. They
Yeah.
don't see maybe the ways in which they're, drinking heavier than they're really comfortable with or feel good about, and maybe hiding that some or whatever other things, pornography or other kinds of things that they're
Totally.
using to kind of medicate what's underneath the surface, and no one would know.
Right. Everybody just seems okay. They seem okay on the surface. Exactly. Yep.
And the loneliness, you hit it on the head of that, the loneliness that comes with that, and you're like, yeah,
Yes.
but if you knew,
Yeah.
like, I know you
And
think you can't
everybody
even
thinks they
take
have it together.
in.
So I can't show anybody. Like
Yeah.
right. And that is so much to take on by ourselves.
Yes. Yes. And the dark thoughts that you can have sometimes, like these are, people get so disillusioned times when they hear, and it just rocks a whole community. You have like a pastor in their life or a coworker, somebody, and it's like I had no idea. Like
Yeah.
they seemed like everything was fine and
Right.
great, and then they ended their life. Then like,
Yeah.
but this is kind of the dark place that this high functioning depression can go, right? Because we get so
Absolutely.
isolated, we're so alone with it, don't feel, and nobody knows because we're able to get out of bed and we're able to put on a good
The
face.
more it seems like we're doing really well, the more we feel like we have to keep that going, right? What a burden.
Mm, yeah, it's so heavy. It's
Yeah,
so heavy.
it is.
We've been talking around it and naming a lot of the things, but if you're maybe to just create like a bullet list, what are
Yeah.
some of the signs, if you're either for yourself, if you're reading this and you think maybe this is me, or if you are, you have a loved one, you got a spouse, you got a coworker, you got a child, you got somebody in your life, and you're like, I know they look like they got it together, but I got this sneaking suspicion that they're not doing as well as maybe they let on. You're like, what are
Right.
some of the signs of
Yeah,
this?
you would look for in yourself or someone else, you would look for trouble sleeping, like sleeplessness or sleeping a lot more than normal. You would look for changes in appetite. You would look for chronic feelings of irritability, worthlessness, numbness, exhaustion.
Yeah.
And then those thoughts, like you said, like some of those dark thoughts, like we might cope with those well. We might push those away fast, or we might shut them down or take them captive, right? Like the Bible talks about, and we might be doing that, but if they're happening, right, those are signs and symptoms of depression. And if you're
Yeah.
functioning really well, but you still have those signs and symptoms of depression, then it's a really good chance you have depression, high functioning depression, right?
Yeah. It
Yeah,
can be really confusing. I think, especially or particularly for men, it seems like to me, work with that are experiencing high functioning depression is, one, they can just feel like depression is weakness and something that is not acceptable or okay for them to acknowledge, anyways. So they just
right,
kind of push it out. Real men don't get depressed or don't experience that, or some baloney like that got planted in their brain from culture or whatnot in the past. But you got that kind of thing that's there, but also the picture maybe that they have of depression is I cry all the time and I can't get out of bed.
right.
And they're like, well, I never cry and
Yeah,
I can't sleep at all. And so, like, I sleep 3 hours a night and then I go back to work or something
I'm
like
good,
that.
right? Then so that means
Right.
I'm
I'm good. Right. Like,
yeah,
and so they don't see the irritableness, like that edge and tension that's just under the surface all the time, and where they, maybe are able to hold it at bay at work, but they snap at their kids, snap at their wife. They're just, you know, un, un unreasonably irritated all the time. That's
yes,
there. Like, I know in my own life, when I have experienced depression, that's one of the ways that I notice is I've just got this
sure,
irritability and tension. I feel it in my body, this muscle tension. I feel
absolutely,
tired all the time, but I can't sleep, and it's just, maybe still working, still going to work, still doing things and muscling through,
right,
but I'm unhappy. It's unpleasant, and I'm not pleasant to be around if you're
yeah,
close to me. I can maybe put on a good show. So, but if you're, behind closed doors or at home, I'm not, I'm not
we
a
can only do
pleasant.
that for so long, right? Like
Yeah, we can
we
only
can only
hold that
hold
front
that up
up.
for so long, yeah. And so when we
Yeah,
do get into those moments in our family life and with those our closest people, it's so hard to keep that going, right? And
yeah,
I don't want you to have to do that either. Right? I don't want anyone to
yeah.
do that.
Right. And I
Yeah,
know sometimes we can get, when we're in that space, I just think that maybe I'm just a jerk. And maybe people around that
right.
are close to me that I'm just a jerk too.
Oh, it's just that I'm a jerk. It's just that I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah,
jerk.
which makes me feel better, right? Kind of in that space, but I just keep showing up in ways that aren't how I want to show up, and I'm not, talking nicely or being kind to myself or to people I love, and I start to get these dark thoughts like, they don't deserve this, and maybe they'd just be better if I wasn't around, or
Right.
you know, all of
Right.
this, going on inside.
Yeah, and that's what we're coping with now. Now, no, now, not only are we coping with just whatever it was that brought on the feelings of depression in the first place, but now we're coping with I don't like how I'm showing up. I'm judging myself for how I'm showing up, and the dark thoughts that we have around that. Then it kind of compiles on itself.
Yeah, yeah, and it looks different than you know, we maybe stereotypically imagine depression to look like. And so it can just go unnoticed or
Yeah,
undiagnosed, and we can think it's a myriad of other things without really having eyes
yeah.
on.
I love how you rationalize that. I'm just a jerk. I don't have
Yeah.
depression. It's just,
Right. Apparently I'm just a jerk. That's right. But I'm a good worker.
yeah,
Like a lot of, like, for me and for a lot of folks, men and women, that can get in this kind of workaholic cycle to where they're just covering these things by just work harder, work harder, work harder. I can't sleep, I'll just work more. I'm crabby and can't be around my family, I'll just work more. This
yeah.
kind
Because
of,
I feel productive. I feel good then about like what I'm
yeah,
doing.
it's some area maybe where I feel like I'm winning, and I
Mm.
don't feel like I'm winning anywhere else in life. And so I just completely
That's one of those
fall
coping
into
mechanisms,
that.
right? That's really like it's doing something for
Yeah.
us.
And it's
Mhm.
one that gets a lot of applaud, and people like, oh, think you're crushing it and doing
Yeah.
great. And so it's hard to recognize it for what it is, with me really coping with some depression that I don't know what to do with or what to do about.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. We've been talking around it a little bit, but maybe just specifically we could name, why does it even matter? Like if I'm being productive, I'm going to my job, I'm paying the bills, I'm picking up my kids from school, dropping them off, making their lunches, all the
Right.
things are getting done, then
Why does it matter?
yeah, why does it matter?
Well, this might be hard to hear, right? But you matter.
Hmm.
Like, that's why this matters. Your experience, like your
Hmm.
life, the things that you are holding and carrying that are hard, that hurt you and other people, like those things matter, right? They in some ways they matter more than the work that we're doing, right? Even if we're doing kingdom work, even if we're doing work for God's kingdom, like if we aren't showing up in our family life and like able to like have those real relationships that characterize the love that we want to have with each other, like that matters. You matter, and your experience of life
Yeah.
matters, and your family's experience matters of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how you say that, it can be hard to hear because we don't feel it at times, but we
Right.
know it's true. And it's true because God says it's true. It's how he sees us. It's how he sees you. And you may not see it the same way as he sees it right now, but I promise you he sees it correctly.
Yeah, let's conform our minds to him. Like
Yeah.
let's let the way he sees it.
Yeah. And
Let's let
I
us see it.
and that's not to like because the enemy likes to take those things and shame us
Yeah.
and be like, see how messed up you are. You don't agree with God about these
Yeah,
things.
let's whack him. Let's whack
Whack
each
them some
other over
more.
the head with him.
Yeah. Yeah. The beatings will continue until morale improves.
Yes.
You know.
The
But
hallmark of
the
fire.
heart of the Father is he loves you and he sees you and he wants for you to be able to see yourself as he sees you in
Mhm.
this.
Amen.
And I think there's this hidden cost then that we don't fully recognize too. Like especially when we're in this high functioning kind of place, we can kind of think that, well, I'm taking care of everybody else,
Right.
and so it really doesn't matter. It's just me.
I really don't matter, right? Like that is
Yeah,
the
I
belief.
really don't matter, and I'm taking care of everybody else, and so that's what's important, and that's what
Yeah.
matters.
Even that misunderstanding that that's what the Bible wants us to do, right? Like
Yeah, it
that
doesn't
we
doesn't
should actually not matter. Like,
right, right. But it actually leaks out in ways and affects the people around us in ways that we don't even realize.
right,
Like when we're going through the motions of life, we're not able to be really present with life. And
right.
and the people in our life experience that. When I have been in seasons where I have struggled with depression and have had that irritableness, it cost my family. Like
Yeah.
my wife could feel my distance and I wasn't able to emotionally connect with her.
Yeah.
That like I wasn't able to be present with my kids in the ways that I would want to. Like I was physically present but emotionally absent.
Yeah.
I was there in body, but my mind and my heart were so preoccupied with the heavy things that I was carrying that I wasn't able to really be there with them. And that costs them. Like,
It does.
they need that.
It does because you are wonderful to be with, Josh. And it's true.
Well,
Like
thanks.
it costs our families like the person that God really does want, like does have for us to be, like the person that we really like the
Yeah.
person we can be, right? Like
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
getting what we
Our
need.
world misses out on that. And while we may, because we're struggling with the self criticism and shame and feel like, you know, maybe they'd be better without me,
Yeah.
they don't feel that way. And God doesn't see it that way. What they really want is for you to be whole in a way that you're able to be your true self, your full self that God's created you to be, and that they can experience that through you and have like there's a lot that's lost.
There's a lot that's lost.
Yeah.
There is a lot.
The world needs you.
That's right.
The
Yeah.
world needs you to have the fullness of life that you were designed for and that the Lord wants for you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. God wants you in like he wants you for his kingdom. Like he
yeah.
wants that work that, not the work that we're coping with our
Yeah.
depression. The
Yeah.
work
Not
that
what you
we're
do for
yeah.
others, but who you are with others.
Yes. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So let's say I'm self identifying and like, no, that sounds a little too familiar. And
Hmm.
then, yeah, check, check, check. Yes, that's, you know, I see myself in this article, this
Right.
video. And, I've been thinking about counseling, thinking about getting therapy, but I'm like, what are they going to do? They're just going to hear my sob story about what I'm feeling, pat me on the head. Like, how is that going to help?
Yeah.
Like, how's that help anybody? Feels like just a big pity party, waste of time. You know,
Yeah.
how
So
does
such
therapy actually help? Like, what is it?
Yeah, such a good question, right? Because I think like so many times I hear clients talk about like, I don't want to go to those places. I don't want to feel that. Like, I
Yeah,
don't want to talk
I
about
spend
it.
all sorts of energy trying to not feel those things. Why would
What
I want to pay
what would
somebody to
actually
come sit
go
with them
with
to
somebody?
just feel them?
Sounds awful. And I'll be honest with you,
Why
it's
would
not,
anybody want to do that?
it's not great. Um, but I'm really selling this now. But the reason, right, like how it helps is you're actually going through all those coping. Like when I'm in depression, I'm going through and I'm coping in these ways, right? And the more that I cope, the more I need to cope. And the
Mhm.
more my life becomes about coping.
Yep.
And
The
now
world gets
instead
smaller and smaller.
is smaller, 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 instead of like being present with my kids and I can like join them in their struggles. I'm thinking about like, when am I going to get out of here so that I can like go and do whatever I'm doing to cope? So I can go to work, so I can have my glass of wine, whatever that is. And so the way that therapy helps is actually those emotions that you're avoiding, right? That I was avoiding, that I've avoided before, they are actually trying to tell you something about
Yes.
your life.
Yes.
And if we don't actually listen to those things, first of all, they're just going to keep like nagging you because that's how you're
Hmm.
made. Your nervous system is
Hmm.
made to feel things that
Yeah.
move us in directions that we need to go.
It's actually a gift.
Yes.
It sounds so
Really?
weird. I know people that have no frame of reference for this are like, you're out of your flipping mind. Like,
Right.
gift. But those alarm systems inside that, when we experience them chronically cause depression,
Mm-hmm.
that, but they're alerting us to something that needs our attention, right? Like
100%.
they're actually there drawing attention to something that needs care.
Right. Right. And then if I don't know how to care for that part of myself and I'm avoiding it and avoiding it and avoiding it, it might be good to go talk to somebody who knows how to care for that part of me.
Yeah. You
Right.
don't know what you
That's
don't
what I
know.
need. Right.
Yeah. And if you did know how to care for this part of you, you would just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that would be great. Like I would love that for you, but that's not where
Yeah.
we're at. Right. So if
That's
I'm
where
in
we're at.
depression, yeah, like, and so I would say, yes, it's hard. Yes, it's not going to feel good all the time. Yes, you'll be annoyed at your counselor sometimes. Like,
I
um,
get annoyed with my
might be
counselor.
annoying right now to you. I don't know. Right. So like, but in that case, like you're still gonna get that message that your nervous system's trying to give to you. And in that, you'll start realizing, okay, what do I need to do to care for these parts so
Yeah.
that I can show up differently, so that my feelings of irritability and worthlessness, like they calm down a little bit, right? Because all these
Yes.
things are pointing us to things that we just need to pay attention to.
Yeah. And I think, one of the key things that we don't get taught in school, we kind of should get taught it in Sunday school, and we do, but we don't understand what it means.
Mm,
That is that we physiologically cannot metabolize these things in isolation.
right.
Like the way Jesus designed our nervous system is that we were designed to be a part of a body and live in community, and
Mhm.
that it requires this co-regulation with another nervous system in
Mhm.
order for us to be able to metabolize these things. And so if you're like a high functioning, hyper individualistic, don't need anybody, don't want to need anybody, person with, attachment wounds like myself, I'm
That's
like,
are you talking to me?
give me a book or give me a course or give me a podcast or give me something that I can listen to and tell me the information, and then I can do what it says and I'll be fixed, and I won't need to need anybody else or be vulnerable with anybody else. I can just do this on my own. And it's physically impossible. Like neurologically, it's impossible.
Yeah. I'm
Like part of
sorry.
what therapy brings in is something that a book cannot bring in. And it's another nervous system to regulate with that enables us to, be able to attune
Mhm.
and discover the things that need healing, and to have the mismatching experiences that will heal those things and change
Mhm.
them. Like it's an experience with another
Mhm.
human that brings about healing that information alone doesn't fix. Because I
Yep.
promise you, I'm a super smart guy. And if a book could fix these things for me, I would have read the book and I would have fixed it.
Yeah.
Like, I would
Yeah.
not be vulnerable with another human being if I didn't have to.
Yeah. If I can get out of that every time. Every time. It doesn't work, right? And every time too that I actually go and I go to the people that can hold that stuff with me, and maybe I cry or I do the ugly cry thing. Everybody knows what that. And like every time I feel better.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's
It's
amazing.
so annoying
It's
to
so
me.
annoying.
Like to me. I sat with my therapist and have the same experience, and Dale is my guy that I meet with and the rest of the stuff. And I'm home that, and I want to be the exception to the rule.
Hmm.
Like, and that's part of it's, that's telling my own story. I wasn't born that way. I had experiences of life where I got wounded, and I didn't want to trust people and didn't want to need people, and wanted to be self-sufficient in
Yeah.
those ways that then, because that's not the way we're designed, we don't function like that,
No.
inevitably led to a breakdown inside of me and depression and other struggles because of that. And that's part of what I learned in the process of my journey, that I had to heal around those things and I had to lean into those things. And,
I think so many could like relate to that story, Josh. Like just all the things that you're saying, they make so much sense. And like I just feel like that's such a resonant story in our culture, even about self-sufficiency and individualism, and just like it's like dependency is this like really gross, messed up thing that people should never do, right? And to be
I
and to
feel that way. Part of
yes,
me still believes that. Part of me is like, yes, that.
dependency gross.
Now, there's the rest of me that has healed and matured and knows the truth otherwise because of experience. But there's still a small part of me back here that's like, can't that be true?
Yes. And I think that is what makes it hard to get that help, right? To actually be able to be vulnerable
Yeah.
and experiencing that relief and experiencing like that person joining us in those places and regulating with us. And, um, it's humbling. It really
It
is.
is. It really is. It takes courage and it takes humility to ask for help. And that's really what stands in the way of most people getting help, you know, is, having the courage and the humility to raise your hand and be like, I can't keep going like this. Like
Yeah.
there's something here that, I'm not dumb.
Right.
If the answer was just information, I could chat GPT it. I could
Yeah.
read
Or
the
pull up your bootstraps, right? If that was the
Yeah,
answer.
well, if I have
Probably done that.
pulled the heck out of my bootstraps. Like if it were possible to do that,
Yeah.
I'm certain that I could do that. But there's got to be more to this.
Yeah.
And I want to say that there is more to it
Yes.
because it's actually a hopeful thing.
Yes.
Like if all there was is what then your situation would be hopeless. And at times you feel like it. You're like, it can't get better. I've done everything I know to do. But listen, just because you have done everything you know to do doesn't mean you have done everything there is to do.
That's right.
There are people that know things that
Thank
you don't
God.
know.
Praise
Thank
God.
God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There are people that know things that you don't know. And what they know that you don't know can really help you.
Mhm. Oh, so
That's my
good.
passionate plea for you. I resonate with this article, especially because I have lived in that space of that high functioning depression
Mhm.
place and I didn't realize it was depression at the
Right.
time because I had all of these ideas about what depression looked like.
Mhm. I have lived in that space a lot myself, right? That's probably why I was like, "Oh, that one. I'll do that article."
Yeah, and that's where these things come from, right? They come from our own lived experience and from the experience of walking these things out with so many people that we get to
So
care
many
for.
people and like those clients that have had that, clients that have come in totally hopeless about this situation, like they're not, and you're not, right? Like that's what I would say, is
Yes.
you're not.
Man, I think it's a good place for us to wrap up.
Mhm.
Like, it may feel hopeless, but it's not hopeless. We
Yep.
have seen and journeyed with, and we have been there personally in those really dark places where it feels hopeless. And we have come to the other side of that and have experienced the life that Jesus has for us on the other side of that. And we have faced the unpleasant truth that we need other people to help us in that.
Every
And we
day,
have
John.
swallowed our pride and have had mustered up the courage to ask for help and have let people come alongside us and help us and have faced the annoying truth that it did help and it did feel good and it did make things better.
Yay. Yay.
And so that's why we're advocating for it for you, because
100%.
you matter to the king and you matter to the people in your world. You matter to the kingdom. And yeah, we need you to be fully you and living the full life that Jesus has for you.
Mm. Yes.
Thanks for hanging out with me, Megan. It's fun to hang out, fun to shoot this video with you.
Yeah. It has been
Thanks for
really
being a
fun.
part of this team and loving on your clients so well.
Oh, it's my pleasure, my honor.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. It brings Cassie and I a lot of joy to be a part of your story and have these conversations with you just about life and faith and neuroscience. Like, it is such a joy to get to do this with you. It's more fun when we learn together. I got a small ask for you. Would you hit the subscribe button for this podcast? It really helps us, and it's a free way in which you can support what it is that we're doing and help others be able to connect with the same resources that you're enjoying. And if you find yourself in need of a little extra help, check out MyCounselor.Online. They're our sponsors. They make this podcast possible. The Christian counselors at MyCounselor.Online would be thrilled to come alongside you and serve you in your time of need. Hey, and Cassie and I want you to know that we're praying for you and that we're cheering you on as you mature into true happiness.